Welcome to Basic Computing. This class will be based on Windows 10 and will show a few previews of Windows 11.
We're going to keep this class very simple. If you already know what we're talking about, that's great. You might expand on your knowledge by listening. And if you have questions, always feel free to ask. If you're watching this online, you can always email me at mike@pmc-computers.com, and I will be trying to answer all the questions I can. Thank you. Just remember what Dr. Rick would say: if you own a flip phone, you're in the right place. We'll get started with basic recognition of different parts, so as we go through, you'll know what we're talking about. In your lower left corner, we have the Start button. Here's a blown up view of what it looks like. The pictures that you see are called desktop icons. Next to your Start button, you'll see the search box, or sometimes referred to as the search bar. The bar that runs across the bottom of your screen is called the taskbar. You'll notice that icons will appear in the taskbar as you open programs. You can also pin programs down there, so it makes them easier to find, and then you can click on them and open them. In the lower right corner, you'll see a group of icons, usually consisting of date and time, also your internet connection, your speaker volume, and if it's a laptop, the battery capacity are all shown down there. As a group, they're known as the notification center, and individually, they're known as notification icons. So in the notification center, you'll see your internet connection, and if you're running wireless, it will look something like this. If you click on it, it shows a list of available Wi-Fi connections. Now, to be clear, that is based on your location. So if you are at home, you're going to see a whole different list of icons than you will if you are someplace else, such as fast food restaurant or library or wherever you might be. When you select the Wi-Fi connection that you want to use, it should ask for a password next. Now, if it is an unsecure connection and does not ask for a password, you should probably think twice as to whether you want to use it. Depending on your security settings, you may be exposed to other people on the network. So that's why I hesitate to log on to something without a password. Also, on your home one, if you do not have a password, anybody within range, which could be 100 feet or so of your house, or even farther away if they have an antenna connected, they might be able to log on to your network. So secure passwords are important on network. So after your password is in and you log on, the next thing you'll see is that you are connected, secure. At that point, you should have internet access. Another thing I'd like to mention while we're here is airplane mode. If you'll see down in the lower part of the screen is airplane mode, and a lot of laptops also have a key on the keyboard to activate airplane mode. Basically, airplane mode will turn off anything transmitting and receiving to your computer, including the Wi-Fi and sometimes GPS or Bluetooth. With this turned off, you can't get in the internet. And this is one of the most common solutions we find when people bring their computers in and say, I can't get connected to the internet. We'll simply click on this and turn the Wi-Fi or airplane mode off. You can also turn off the Wi-Fi here, but those are two common solutions. If you don't get any internet Wi-Fi icon popping up, that is probably what might be happening. If you're not connecting through Wi-Fi and instead you're connecting with an Ethernet wire, this will be the icon you'll see in the lower corner and should replace your Wi-Fi. Occasionally you'll have both, but this one will give you a quicker, smoother connection, and in this case, your security is built into the router and you don't have to worry about it as much. Now that you're connected to the internet, you are going to want to browse the internet. The connection itself does not give you internet, the browser does. So it's a link between your computer and the internet. Browsers can consist of Microsoft Edge is usually built into Microsoft, which is the one here with the yellow arrow. You can also use Google Chrome, which is the one up here with the red arrow. There's other ones you can use. Firefox is one, and there are other ones out there too. But any one of them will make that connection between your computer and the internet. Now that you've clicked on your browser, it will open up and go directly to your home page. Your home page can be whatever you desire. There's settings in there to change it, and we'll go over that next. I keep mine simple and go to Google because a lot of the pages now are putting news stories and advertisements, and I'm the type of person that will start clicking on those, and 20 minutes later, I'll forget why I even came to the internet. So take away the temptation, I just go with the Google page. When you click on your browser and it opens up, to set your custom home page, you'll go to the upper right corner, click on the three dots, which usually indicates customization or settings. In the drop-down window, go down to settings and select it. In your settings window, you'll look in the left column and go down to Start, Home, New tab. Click on it and you'll go to the next window. In this window, you'll want to select the first area when Edge starts and go down to Open these pages. In there, you can add 1, 2, or even more home pages if you want, and they'll just come up as different tabs. But mainly, I just selected one page, added it. It's http://www.google.com/. You can also do that by cutting and pasting so you don't have to remember all of the different little characters. And then you can say that is your home page. You also notice down below that you have home button, and there's a little toggle switch over here with the blue to turn it on and off. And what that does is turn this little house on up here in the top bar. You can actually set that as new tab page, which is one of like I was talking about, it has a bunch of advertisements or news articles, or you can also customize it to the same or a different page. So when you click the home button, you'll go to that. You can also customize a new tab page. A new tab is what you get by clicking on this little plus sign right here. But when you do that, you're going to get whatever you customized from this setting right down here. Okay, let's talk about favorites. Favorites is a place to add a page that you go to frequently. If you can see, mine is set so I'm showing favorite bar here, you can make that visible or not visible. But take, for example, I want to add this page to my favorites. I come up here to the little star in the address bar, click on it, and it says, where do you want to add it? Well, I can add it under Tools, or I can add it under Dashboard. I can add it under the favorite bar, which will make it show right up there, or any other favorites I want. So let's just put it in favorite bar. And all I have to do is say done. And now it's going to be in my favorites bar. Now I have too many there, so it's going to be down here out of the way. But when it's in there, I can right click on it and I can delete it from the favorites. If I want to view my favorites, I come over here to this star, which has the lines and makes it look like a list. So I click on that and there's all my favorites. So even though my favorite bar is up here, it's also in here. I can go to different areas. Say, for example, I have saved genealogy, and I break it down into different ones, and I can go directly to any one of those pages. So that is how you get to your favorites, how you save favorites. You can also sort and arrange your favorites in here. Under this list, you can import, export, duplicate. In here, oops, that took me right to one. But if I'm in here and I want to drag this around, I can and move it to different locations. So a lot of things you can do with your favorites. Since we are already in the internet now, let's talk about some internet safety tips. Internet safety is going to mean different things to different people. For example, if you've got young children in the house, internet safety means you want to protect them from different people on the internet or different sites on the internet. If you're an adult and you're going to your bank, you're going to want to make sure that your transaction is hidden from view from bad people.
One of the most important things you need to know is that if a site has HTTPS at the beginning, as seen up here in the address bar, the S indicates that it's a secure site. Also, if you'll notice to the left of that, there's a padlock and it is locked. That's telling you the site is secure. So, if the site is secure, that's the first indicator that it would be safe to enter information. So you go to log on your bank and you look up there at the screen and it doesn't have an S, don't enter it, don't log in, because it's probably a fake page and it's not a secure page, so your information can go directly out on the internet unencrypted.
One of the first things you need to pay attention to is right up here in your HTTP or HTTPS sites. Let's use an example here of Google is a site where you enter information, and before you enter any information in any site, you should make sure there is an S up here in the address. Also, you'll see a padlock over to the side here, and it tells you that it is locked. If you click on that padlock, you get more information. You can see here that different permissions are set, but it also says the connection is secure. And by clicking on the arrow next to that, you can see an explanation of what it means by secure. And then up here, there's a certificate. You click on your certificate. Now you can see who owns the certificate. And this happens to be Google. So that's where you want to be. So now you've drilled down and can see that you are right where you want to be. You can also look at the details and a certificate path, but most of that doesn't mean anything to most people. Here we have an example of a non-secure site. You have no place to enter any information, so that's okay. It doesn't matter if it's secure or not because they can't get any of your information. But you can see right here it says non-secure. You don't see the HTTPS because it's not necessary. It already has the non-secure information right here. If you were to click up here in the bar, you can highlight all that, but you come over here and click on the not secure, and it tells you right here, your connection to this site isn't secure. So you expand that out, and it tells you more information about that. But there is no certificates or anything to click up here because it has no security. Here we have some samples of the difference between secure and non-secure sites. On the left side, I have Microsoft Edge, is the same one we were using in the examples, and they look exactly the same. The secure has the padlock, and the non-secure says non-secure next to it. If you happen to be using Google Chrome, it'll look very similar. It sometimes does not have the HTTPS showing, but it does have the padlock. And in non-secure sites, you can see that they are still labeled non-secure. So don't ever enter any of personal information in a site unless it has an S. There's a few more steps you can take to feel a little more secure online. If you go back into your settings, up here to three dots, and come all the way down here to settings, there's an area here called privacy, search, and services. Click on that, and you can see here you're tracking. If you set it as balanced, it somewhat tracks where you go on the internet, and that's a good thing to the point of it's more intuitive and knows where you go and what you're looking for, so it makes it easier to find particular things when you do searches. You can do to a basic or a strict and read through what that means, and you can try any one of those if you want. You can also block trackers. So here you can select what you want to block, and we can clear that out. You can also go to exceptions. Well, I don't have any exceptions set right now. If you come down here to clear browsing data, this is the one I would like to make sure everybody knows about. If you accumulate data in your browser, it does slow it down, and it does save passwords and stuff sometimes. So anybody steals your computer, they can get in and get all that information. Here you can choose what to clear, your browsing history, download history, for any range of time. I have mine set at all times, and I can say clear now. I can also choose what to clear every time you every time you close the browser. So I can clear my browsing history, my download history, all the cookies, cache. Now, here, if you clear your passwords, you'll have to enter them every time, and your autofill forms also. So that just depends on how much you trust it. I would prefer to use a password safe and clear the passwords out every time. That's definitely an easy way for people to get a hold of information. You can also come down here in your privacy and do not track requests. You can turn on allow sites to check. For payment methods, you can turn that on or off. Requires diagnostic data. That is just a Microsoft thing. And personalize your web experience. If you leave this on, it will gradually get more intuitive to what you like. So here you can manage certificates. If there's certain ones you don't trust, This is more advanced stuff. Microsoft Defender Smart Screen helps protect you from malicious sites. So if you turn that on, it blocks a little bit. Use DNS specific how to look up network addresses. Okay, this is very important, but it's very advanced. We at PMC offer DNS services and DNS filtering. So if you want to keep, for example, you want to keep children off of a social media site, we can turn off that social media site. If you run a business, you want to keep your employees off that during work hours, we can specifically do that. So that's all good stuff to know if you're interested and a little bit leery about any security. Okay, now that we've learned the internet, let's talk about apps and programs that are on your computer. Apps and programs are very similar. The main difference is apps usually come from the App Store, which is a Windows Microsoft run store, so you know that they're tested and don't have any viruses and stuff. Programs are usually larger and purchased from a programmer, and if it's a trusted programmer, they're safe, they're secure. But a lot of times you can get free programs on the internet, and you may or may not have a trusted program. So you want to be sure to check that out before you do anything with a program. But to open them, you want to click on the Start button in the lower left corner. As you can see, it looks like a little window with divided into 4 panes. And when you click on it, you get this pop-up. If you'll notice down the left side, you'll see all of your apps and programs listed in a straight line. At the top, you'll see recently added. Below that, most likely you will see most used. And then below that, you'll have the letters A, B, C, all the way down. On the right side, you'll have at a glance. This is all customizable by you. So if there's a program you use a lot, you can add it right here to your web page. You can expand that out bigger, smaller, and customize it as much as you want. But if you're looking for a program that starts with the letter S, for example, the quick and easy way to get there is click on any letter. Like right here next to the red arrow, you can click on the letter A, and you'll come up with a selection pad. Now that the pad is open, you can click on whatever letter you're looking for. So for example, if I was looking for the program Word, I would just come down and click on the W, and it would be right in front of me. You can also start typing the word of the program, and your computer will find it for you. So as you can see, there's many different ways to get to the destination you're looking for. As you can see, now your list starts with W and shows the weather, web root, Windows ease of access, Windows security, and so on to get down to Word, which is the program you're looking for. So now you just click on Word and you'll open up that program. The program that you're opening is one that you use all the time and are always looking for. There's a simple way just to pin it so it's easily accessible from the bottom of your screen. Right click on it after it's open on the little icon down in the taskbar, and you get this pop-up window. In that pop-up window, you can see Pin to Taskbar, and that will pin it down to the lower part of your screen. Even if it's not open, it will be there. You can tell if it's open by the little blue line underneath it, and you have more options once you pin it. You also have additional options of right-clicking. When you do go to the Start menu and find what you're looking for, you can right-click on it there, and one of the selections is Pin to Start. So rather than pinning it to your taskbar, you can pin it to the Start menu. So as soon as you click Start button, one of the blocks over to the right will be a block containing the program that you pinned there. You also have right-click menu customizable options in your blocks under the Start button over on the right side. If you notice in there, you can unpin it from Start, which will take it back off that list if you don't want it there anymore. It won't remove it from your computer. It will just erase the shortcut in the Start menu. You can also resize, and under More, there's a interesting one that is Live Tile. So each of these tiles can be live or not live. And an example of a live tile, go to the weather tile and turn on live, and it will show you the current weather as it changes, and it will scroll through different ones. Same with pictures, calendar, email. They all have live tile options. I want to also mention that as we evolve into Windows 11, the live tiles, and in fact all of the tiles, will go away and be replaced with something different. We talked about searching on the internet, but from the search site here, you can search your computer and the internet. So for example, you're looking for a possible file that might be on your internet, you can, or on your computer, you can check right here. So all you have to do is click the Start button and start typing. And I always get asked the question, well, where do you type? Well, just start typing. It will go right here. It's your computer's pretty smart, and it figures out if you start typing, it needs to put the letters somewhere, so it will put them here. This is also Cortana. Cortana is like Siri if you've got an Apple phone. And if you turn it on and set it up, all you have to do is say, hey, Cortana, search the internet for, and it will go look for it. So that's something you have to set up first, but it's built right in. Now let's talk about file management and the snap function. I always get asked about organizing your pictures or organizing your files. Again, like I said, you can search from the lower left corner. You can also, when you open up the File Explorer, which I'll show you in a second here, you can search in the upper right corner. Now to open File Explorer, go down to the bottom of your page and it looks like a little manila folder. If it's not there, click on the Start button and just type the word file and you'll find it. Once it is open, you'll have a menu down the left side showing first your quick access, which is usually consisting of desktop, downloads, documents, pictures, and then whatever else you use on a semi-regular basis. Frequent folders appears in quick access. On the right side, you can see, since quick access is highlighted on the left side, you see frequent folders on the right side. Below that, you'll have sometimes OneDrive if you're using it. It's just a cloud storage. And then this PC. This PC consists of every hard drive connected to your computer. It could be just one hard drive, which would be your C drive. They always call the main hard drive C. This one highlighted down there, it also has an E drive, which is because I have a memory stick plugged in and it automatically labels itself C. Some computers have more than one hard drive, some of them have cloud drives, and some of them are on a network. Down at the bottom of the left column, you can see network is highlighted or is on there. So you can see everything on your network. You can drill down on these simply by clicking one, and it opens up a whole new group on the right side. And then you can continue to drill down in any folder until you get to the bottom. Okay, let's talk about organizing pictures or files. If we come down here to the File Explorer, the Manila folder at the bottom, now mine does look a little different because it is Windows 11 and it's in the center instead of off to the left. But I click on it and I get this folder open. I want to open two separate ones. So if I right click on this now and then say File Explorer, I get the same thing again. So let's take one of them, grab a hold with the left mouse button and drag it until it gets over to the left side and it becomes half screen. Now let's click on the other one and it becomes the other half of the screen. So on this one, let's drill down into the pictures. Now on this one, let's go back into the pictures and create a new folder. Let's just right click, say new, and go up here to the top as folders. It might be some other organization, but you can see here I started a new folder. We can name that whatever we want to name it. I'm just going to leave it new folder for now because I'm going to probably move it or get rid of it after I'm done. But if I click on that, it becomes new folder. Double click on a new folder. Now we have an empty folder. And for example, I want to take these pictures and put them over there. I can take one of them and drag it over and let go. And now all of a sudden I have it over here. Let's change the view so it looks the same as it does over here. Just change it to large icon. Another way I can do it is grab a hold of one and then come over to the far right and hold my shift button and click that one. Now you can see I have all the rest of them highlighted and I can drag them over here. Now normally you will be moving them if they're both on the same drive. It just so happens that mine are on two separate drives here, so it's copying them. So once they're copied, I can always go back in, select all, right click, and just say delete. And that will get rid of them in the old location. So I don't have duplicates of the same picture. I'm ultimately going to get rid of this side over here. But the beauty of that is I can click and drag, and it makes it very simple. I'm dragging them back to their original location. Here's something you'll see too. Since they are the same thing and they're already here, you can replace the file in the destination. You can skip the files and don't move them, or let me decide on each one. I'm just going to replace them, let them go back over, and we'll just get rid of these over here, and I will hit the trash can and delete them. Now let's go back one layer, like I said, drilling down. Now if I want to click on this folder and throw it away, I'm back to where I started. Again, drilling down, say for example, I want to drill into this folder. I can just click on it and drill right down into it till I get to the bottom. I happen to be at the bottom of that one. This one I happen to start on the D drive because I have another hard drive on this computer, and that's why you're seeing multiples here. Now just so you know, if I was to grab a hold of the top bar of this, drag it away, it snaps away from the half screen there. If I'm push it to the top, as you can see, it becomes a full screen. Likewise, if I take and put it up into a corner, it becomes a quarter screen. So the snap function has a lot of availability to it. If we close this and make this full screen, I've also, in Windows 11, an added feature they've just done is if I choose up here, I can choose all these different screen layouts. So I could actually put this in the lower left corner and put this on the left side and put that in the top. So I've got a lot of options available to me. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about account settings. If you look down here in the Start button and above it a few spaces, there's usually a picture, depending on whether you set the account settings and added a picture or not. It will be a universal one, or it will be a picture of the one you selected. You can go to there and then go up to change account settings. Now, this is a good thing to do. I know people don't want to log on with a password, but especially laptops that may be out in public, if you're carrying it in your car or taking it to the library or whatever, put an account setting on there and put a password. Just simply because if somebody picks it up, that is the number one cause of stolen identities, is somebody physically steals the laptop, and then they can do whatever they want with it. So if you got a password on there, it makes one more barrier for them to get past. When you click on account settings, it will bring you to a page like this. And like I said, password add is something that I would recommend everybody do. Now, maybe a good secure password you don't want to type in every time you open your computer. So you can also add a PIN, and it can be anything from 3 to 5 characters that you want to put on there. There's also things like Windows Hello, which is facial recognition. Not all computers offer that, but the ones that do, you can just use your face as your password. You'll notice down a little lower there is picture password, which all that is it puts a picture on your screen, on your lock screen, and you have to trace certain things on that picture to unlock your computer. So maybe it is a picture of a flower, and you know that your password is trace this petal and that petal, and then draw a circle around the middle, and that will unlock your computer. There's other things like dynamic locks, which are fingerprint readers and that kind of thing, and you can lock it. Some computers have those built in, others don't. You can also get add-on if you would like to do that. Remembering the magic of the right click, let's go to the empty spot anywhere on your screen on your desktop and right click. As you can see, there's a couple options down at the bottom where you can change your display settings or personalize your computer. Now let's try clicking on Personalize. You'll see a screen similar to this. If you notice down the left side, you can change your background, colors, lock screen, themes, start, and taskbar. So starting with backgrounds, when you go to there, it gives you the option of selecting different backgrounds. One of the selections here is picture. Well, what picture do you want to use? I can select from the ones that are preloaded, or I can go to Browse, and then I can, in Browse, go to my picture folder and select pictures of my kids, my grandkids, whatever I want. I can also select multiples and put them in a slideshow. Rather than selecting pictures, I select slideshow. And I can also control the fit. I can fill the screen, or I can stretch, or I can center, or I can make a wallpaper of a bunch of the pictures. Bunch of options for you right there. The other options available to you in personalization is color, and that mostly turns on different colors for your top bar and trim around different places on the internet. Lock screen, you can change the picture on your lock screen or take away the picture, which shows up while your computer's locked before you log on. Themes is really interesting because they have built-in themes in Windows, or you can go to the internet and download many different ones. Say, for example, you might be a Star Wars nut. Well, you can go to a Star Wars theme and it will change a lot of different little things. Sometimes it changes the cursor on your mouse button. It might change the sounds. When you click on something, it might be a Star Wars sound. Something fun to play with. Doesn't affect how your computer operates, just changes the way it looks. Next, you have the Start, which changes your start menu appearance. For example, if you wanted your File Explorer to show up on your start menu, you can turn it on and off. Just many different options there. Try it, play with it. Like I said, it doesn't hurt anything, just changes your appearance. You can also customize the task bar, which changes some of the icons in the lower right corner and how things snap down there to the taskbar. Say, for example, change the way your clock appears or your calendar or your internet connection, different things like that. Updates and updating your computer. Very critical for your protection. What I mean by that is most updates for your computer are going to happen because the bad guy, a hacker, found a way in and past your firewalls and stuff on your computer. So Windows immediately sees that and they fix the hole where they got in. But they have to send that out to every computer out there, millions and millions of computers. So you need to download the update, load it on your computer, and restart your computer. Now, most of that happens in the background. They'll automatically force it down if it's a critical update, and it will load on your computer. But it is always up to you to restart the computer because they're not going to force it to shut down while you're in the middle of work. I would be amiss if I didn't tell you that that is a service that we offer, and we monitor your computer 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, making sure that all those holes are patched. And if it needs an update, we will schedule that update for 2 o'clock in the morning so that it doesn't interfere with your working, unless you work at 2 o'clock in the morning, and then you'll have the option to change that time. But it is extremely, extremely critical to do all your updates. If you ever want to check and make sure that you're up to date and force the scans for updates, you can go and click on the Start menu and type in Windows Updates. It will take you to a page similar to this. Now, if you click on the Windows Update on the left column, it will scan your computer, and in the right column, you'll see right now on this one, it is giving 6 different updates for this computer, and it's automatically downloading them. Once it's done, it'll probably say your computer needs restarted to make these updates effective. You'll also notice in the list there's Windows Insider Preview Update, which you wouldn't have because I got that turned on so that I see any updates before you do. Miscellaneous malicious software removal updates, cumulative updates, and now here's a couple other interesting. They're not Windows. Samsung Electronics Update. Well, these are the manufacturer of your computer sending updates through Windows Updates just to keep you up to date. You can do this, force it if you want. It will usually run these in the background for you on regular intervals. But like I said, PMC computers, we do monitor hundreds of computers 24 hours a day just to make sure they're safe. Now, as a warning, other updates for other programs appear quite often. And here you'll see a scam update. How do you know? Well, you probably don't, but you're always welcome to call us and we can check that for you. Especially if we're monitoring it, we can remote in anytime and see your screen as long as you give us permission to do so. But this happens to be an update for the Adobe Flash Player. If you notice on this, there's some disclaimers at the bottom. Check the wording always. Check the way words are spelled and check the language. Sometimes it's mispronounced or misspelled, so it is laid out in the wrong order, commas are in the wrong place, those kind of things. But if you say update and you click on the update button here, it will take you to their web page to update. Well, they can take you to any page they want and trick you into downloading a virus. What I always recommend on this type of thing, if it pops up and says Adobe Flash Player or any other program that you have, and it says it's out of date. Now, first thing is, do you have that program? If not, then it's probably a scam. If so, just close that and go to the web page for Adobe Flash Player, doing a Google search. Get you to the right page and download or check for updates there. Quite often you'll find that they'll say, well, no, yours is up to date. We don't have any updates right now. And you'll find out it was just somebody trying to scam you. Again, that is a huge part of our job at PMC Computers, is preventing these type of scams. There's some interesting facts to know about email. There are over 4 billion email users worldwide, and over 3 million emails are sent every single second. There are over 7 billion email accounts, and 95% of consumers will check their email every single day. Nearly 60% of email users will check their spam folder every day also. Okay, let's address email now. Emails consist of an email address, which consists of a local name, then followed by an @ symbol. Next, you follow it with a domain, and then a dot, and then a top-level domain. So, a domain is, for example, I own the domain PMC-computers. That is my domain. It is a .com domain, which is the top level. So pmc-computers.com is my domain and my top level domain. So if I put a name in front of that, Mike at, it becomes my full email address. And just so you know, that domain is also used as my web address, as it is in most cases. So mine is pmc-computers.com. And if you go to that on the internet, that goes to my website. Same with gmail.com. That is their domain. It's like your home address, your house number, and then your street, and then your city, and then your zip code. To receive an email, you need an email agent, which is basically your mailbox. You could have a webmail, which has an online agent, or you could have a local or on your computer email agent. And that would be something like Outlook or Thunderbird are a couple of examples of that. So let's talk about Gmail now. Gmail is one of the most popular free email addresses out there right now. You simply have to go to the Google page, www.google.com, and in the upper right corner, you'll see Gmail. You'll have to click on that, and it will ask you to log in to your Gmail account or create an account. So once you do that, it takes you then to your mail page. I'll mention here too that if you go to the right in that group of dots, there is a lot of other things that Google offers for free. So take a look at that, but we won't get into that because it doesn't have anything to do with the computer right now. It's just options available for you. Once you're logged on and you go to Gmail page, you'll have something similar to this. Of course, you can customize and change the backgrounds and a lot of different options there. But basically, you have your inbox. You can create and send emails. You can sort your emails as they come in into different folders. All the options available to you that are available also on other domain type emails. But this is all free. You also have built-in calendars and reminders and a lot of other things in there. But again, that's Gmail, and that is all free once you create your account. Just so you can have a visual here, this is a picture of what Outlook is like. Very, very similar. You have your folders down the left side, different email addresses. You've got preview in the middle. And then if you click on any of those previews, it will show you the actual email in the right side. You've got built-in things like read it out loud to you or flag it for future review. The one main beauty that I like about Outlook is the fact that I have several email addresses. I think it's 5 right now that I have, but they all come into Outlook. So I only have to go one place to look for them. Like I was saying, different domains, like I've got Mike at pmcreation.com. I've got Mike at pmc-computers.com. I've got Mike at pmccomputers.com. Plus, I have a few other ones that I've created over the years, and they all come into the main account here. It's worth noting that I also have mike.pmcreation@gmail.com. Yes, a Gmail address. And I've put it in my Outlook so I get my Gmail here too without having to go out to another page. So basically at one click, I have one stop to get them all. And down in the lower left-hand corner, you can see mail, calendar, your contact lists, and to-do lists, plus a few other things you can do, all built into Outlook. So that's why I like Outlook. Now, it is part of Microsoft Office package, and it's not cheap. It's a pay-for program. So that's another advantage to Gmail. If you're wanting something free, you can go right to the webmail and use it. Many other domains also have their own free mail. If you've got any questions about that, I'm happy to answer them for you. There's a couple things to point out as far as email etiquette. We won't get into it too deep, but first of all capital letters is the same as yelling. Since people can't read your facial expressions, be careful how you word things and if you use all caps, because a lot of times assumptions are made. So to avoid that, just keep your emails simple. Also, when you're forwarding or sending a group message, in a group message, always use blind carbon copy, and in the address line, just send it to yourself. That way, all the addresses are hidden from the other recipients. I find a lot when people are sending out in groups. If they send all of the email addresses exposed in a regular carbon copy or just in the address line, it's very easy for someone to steal all those addresses and then start sending junk mail to them. So always avoid it by using blind carbon copy. The other thing is, if you're forwarding something, cut and paste it rather than just forward it, or clean up all of the original recipient's information, or the original sender's information, I should say. If you just forward it, everything there is exposed. So you could forward it to 5 of your friends. Maybe it's a joke that you got from somebody else. Well, now they all know where it came from. Uh, I believe in being clear when you are sending something and giving the original person credit for it. But as it gets down the line and it's been forwarded by 10 different people, all of a sudden you've got a line built in with 10 different people. And if they're sending it to groups, it is a absolute mess in the background. And again, that information can be stolen and used for advertising. So just like the junk mail in your mailbox, we don't want junk mail. In the advanced class, we can get into more filtering, but for right now, we'll just leave it at that. Let's talk about endpoint protection. You probably know it as antivirus, but the fact is, viruses are not a major concern on your computer anymore. There are a lot of other major problems that they don't inject as viruses. They simply trick you into clicking on something to allow them access. That is the biggest way the bad guys are getting in anymore. And that's how they normally will get through and take over computers with ransomware, which is another name you've probably heard on the news. Just so you know, Windows has a built-in antivirus. It's good. It's not great. I would recommend adding on another layer of protection. Your add-on antiviruses come in many different qualities. And remember, just because they advertise or you recognize the name does not make them good. A good example that everybody seems to recognize is Norton. And as far as me and most other professional computer people, we consider Norton a virus in and of itself. If you define a virus as something that does things to your computer to slow it down or capture information or anything else, it is exactly what Norton and McAfee and a few other ones out there do. Another thing to remember is that free antiviruses that you can download, most of the time you get your money's worth. Free is free. So, are they worth anything? Yeah, they probably do some good, but they're free. And anybody that gives me something for free and then tries to sell me an add-on, they're basically telling you that the free isn't good enough, or they wouldn't be trying to sell you the add-on. So there's another thing to remember is some of the add-on antiviruses are cloud-based and some of them are computer-based. There's been trouble in the past where a computer-based antivirus, if a hacker does get in, they can turn it off, do their damage, turn it back on, and leave, and you never know they were there. Whereas a cloud-based is monitored outside of your computer, stopping people from even getting there to begin with. That's another thing we monitor at PMC Computers is cloud-based antivirus. And believe it or not, a good cloud-based antivirus is only going to cost you about $5 a month. So it's not an expensive thing to do for what it does for you. I've done a lot of research over the years and I found that I feel comfortable recommending WebRoot. And again, it's something we install on computers for $4 or $5 a month, and we monitor it. We take care of all the settings. I like it because it's got things like complete confidence with built-in LastPass and password management. It protects your Wi-Fi because it's on the outside looking in rather than the inside looking out. It's all built on a VPN, which is virtual private network, so it keeps any attacks coming from the outside. Um, Phishing attacks, that's a biggie. When you go to a website and answer a questionnaire, or here's a good example. People post on Facebook. You don't even know them, but they post on Facebook. What is your favorite movie? Or what is a movie that you've seen 5 times? Or give me a movie quote that you will recognize the movie. That's phishing. They're trying to get to know you and what your favorite movie is, because it might be something you use in your passwords. So any of that kind of thing that if you don't know people, yeah, that's phishing and they're trying to get information. The other thing, WebRoot being cloud-based won't slow your computer down because it's not loaded on your computer. All that's on your computer is a little agent, and the rest of the action is happening outside your computer. They've got identity protection built in and multi-device support. If you've got more than one computer, you can combine them all together. So that's something that I would recommend. I have a lot of clients that say, no, I don't need that much protection. That's fine. It's just my recommendation. And if you don't do it and you get attacked, I would feel bad if I hadn't mentioned it to you to begin with. So that's something I would recommend. To conclude, I'd have to say there is much, much more that we could talk about. We've only scratched the surface, so speak up if you have questions. We could talk about passwords and the rules of making a secure password and how often you should change it and use a different password for every place you log on to. Well, yeah, those are all good rules, but then for the rest of us, I duplicate passwords. I just, in my own mind, think about the security level. Obviously, I'm not going to use a duplicated password to log on to my bank account because there's a lot to lose there. But to log on to my Amazon account, okay, I might use a duplicate there. Another thing to discuss is that computers, like cars, need to have a tune-up from time to time to be safe. Like I said, we do monitor and take care of that for people 24/7, and it's not very expensive, less than $20 a month, including the antivirus. So I think it's right around $13, $14, something like that. And we're on there 24 hours a day monitoring it. Plus, if you have any questions, any concerns, we can, um, with your permission, we can remote in and show you things right there without you having to bring it in, which is a very good thing. If you don't do that, I'd say once a year, I would recommend bringing it in to get it tuned up. And there's, I'm sure, hundreds of other things, whatever you want to learn. My email address, mike@pmc-computers.com, is available to you anytime, and I will try to answer any questions that you may have. So if you can't think of the questions during class, email them to me. If you can, let's talk about it. Do you have any questions?